All right, y'all, this is a test one review for sections 1A, 2ABC, and 3B. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get to these notes. All righty, so test review, test one review. All right, so the first one says, a stockbroker sold 50, so this is number one, sold 50 shares of stock for $48.40 each. What was the total amount of the sale? So he sold 50 shares for $48.40 each, okay? So all we're going to do on that is take this 50 shares, and if you want to set it up like we've been doing everything, it tells us right here that he paid $48.40 each. So for every share, they paid $48.40, because now remember, the shares are going to cancel like we needed, and we'll end up with money. So this, we're just going to multiply 50 times 48.40. That's going to give me $2,420. Okay, so that was the total that they paid or sold them shares for. Okay. All right, number two wants me to identify the fallacy. So the choices are going to be appeal to emotion, hasty generalization, appeal to ignorance, or limited choice. All right, so the statement is, a television commercial shows two people who fall in love while wearing a certain brand of blue jeans. Okay, two people fall in love while wearing a certain brand of blue jeans. So of these choices, I went with appeal to emotion, because they're playing on your love, and those blue jeans are making you feel that love in this commercial. So I went with appeal to emotion. Okay, so you just got to identify which one you think it is. All right, check this out. A commuter train travels 35 kilometers, so 35 kilometers in 26 minutes. What is the speed in kilometers per hour? So they want to know, what is the speed in kilometers per hour? So the only conversion we got to worry about, because the answer is in kilometers, which is what they gave me it in, all I got to do is figure out the minutes to the hours. But we do know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So they're giving us 35 kilometers in 26 minutes. So let me draw that out. So I'm going to turn the minutes into hours. So we know 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. Okay, so you can do 35 kilometers in 26 minutes. We want to know how many kilometers is that per hour. Okay. All right, so let me see. Let me do some multiplying. So 35 times 60, that's on the top. So you multiply those together. That gives me 2,100. And then I divide by the 26 on the bottom. And let me see. They want us to round this to the nearest tenth. So I got 80.769. The nearest tenth is where the 7 is. So since the 6 is bigger than a 5, or a 5 or bigger, I would round that up. So I get an 80.8 kilometers per hour. And see how my hours ended up on the bottom and my minutes canceled, okay? All right, number 4. Well, let me get this paper straight. Convert the measurement to the unit specified. Round to the nearest tenth. So they want me to turn 95 kilometers per hour to miles per hour. All right, so that one I looked on my sheet to see what the ratio was, and 1 mile is equal to 1.6093 kilometers. So that paper I sent y'all for a helper sheet, that has all these conversions, and it's got all the metric stuff down in the bottom left of that page. Okay, so watch this. We start with 95 kilometers per hour. So we need to change from kilometers to miles per hour. So we're going to use this conversion. And right here it says 1.6093 kilometers equals 1 mile. All right, so the kilometers will cancel, and I'll now have miles on top, hours on bottom, which is what they wanted. So this one, we take the top 95 and divide by what's on the bottom, and that is 1.60, whoops, make that a 0.93. All right, let's divide that and see what we get. And remember, they wanted me to round to the nearest tenth. So I got 59.03. The nearest tenth is where the 0 is. So since that is 4 or less, that means we round nowhere and we leave it the same so that we get 59.0. All right, so let me turn my page. We'll do number 5. Number 5, we're going to figure out what kind of fallacy we have again. So my answers are appeal to popularity, limited choice, personal attack, which is also called ad hominem, and then circular reasoning. So here is my statement. When confronted with questions from the press about alleged scandals, a congressman replies that the allegations against him should be ignored since his accuser is part of a vast right-wing conspiracy. So if you think about it, they're not appealing to no popularity. It's not giving me limited choices. It sounds like he's attacking that, right? By saying he's part of a vast right-wing conspiracy. So I went with a personal attack on that. And then circular reasoning would be the statement and the conclusion sort of have the same meaning to be circular reasoning. It don't go nowhere. It's like repeating itself. All right, number 6. Carry out the indicated unit conversion. Round your answer if appropriate. Convert 14 miles into yards. And I'm just going to say YDS for my yards. And now they're telling me there are 1,760 yards equal to 1 mile. So they gave me that conversion. So we're going to turn 14 miles into yards. So we start with the 14 miles they gave us. And we know over here that for every 1 mile, notice how I put the miles on bottom so they'll cancel. That's equal to 1,760 yards. So the miles will cancel. I'm ended up in yards like I need. So I only got to multiply 14 times 1760. And what are we getting? 24,640 yards. Okay, so we knew there'd be a lot more yards than miles on that one, okay? All right, here they gave me they want me to restate the fact as indicated. So they're saying the national debt was about 6.9 trillion. So that's your national debt at the end of 2003. Express this quantity as a number of dollars per person. So dollars per person. Assume the U.S. population is 280 million. Okay, so what I did, you got 6.9 trillion. Now, the thing you could do is write 6.9 trillion as a regular number. So watch this. Okay, so 3 zeros for my hundreds places, 3 for my thousands, 3 for my millions, 3 for my billions, and then here's my 6. So this would be 6.9 trillion. And remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When we was doing the chart that one day, the trillions spot had 12 zeros on it, okay? All right, but we had a number in this place, so that eliminated one of the zeros since we had that number there, okay? So that'd be 6.9 trillion. So you're going to start with 6.9 trillion per US, okay? Now I'm going to turn 280 million into a number also. So watch what I do. So we know, so we're wanting to find what's the debt per person. So we know that for the whole, what I do this, I said the U.S. per person had 280 million. So that'd be 280. There's your thousands and there's your millions. Okay. So 280 per person in the U.S. This was what 609 trillion. But basically, what you're going to do is take your total debt and divide by the U.S. population, because the U.S. population was what 280 million people. So see how this is going to cancel, and you're going to end up with money per person, okay? Because this was the number of people in the U.S., and I was able to cancel the U.S.'s doing that, okay? So let's see what this is going to give me. Now you could do this with scientific notation, but I'm just going to punch in 6, 9, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then divide by 280, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All right, y'all, when I hit enter, I should get my answer, and this is 24,642, and they want us to round this to the nearest cent, so since that's a 7, I'm going to make that 5, a 6, so that'll be 0.86. So when you're dealing with money, you want to round off to the nearest cents usually, and that means that our national debt per person is an average of $24,000. Okay, so remember on that question, take your debt, divide by your population of people, and that'll give you the answer you're needing per person, okay? So let me put per there, forgot that per. All right, number 8, convert the temperature as indicated. Round to the nearest hundredth. So that'll be 2 decimal places. So 60 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. So the formula for Fahrenheit to Celsius, Celsius equals 5 divided by 9, or you could put 0.55555 there, okay? Times F minus 32. So what you do, you bring down to 5/9. In place of the F, you put the 60 degrees minus the 32. So you want to subtract in here before you multiply. Order of operations. Remember, work in those parentheses first. 60 minus 32 is 28. So put that in there. Now, take 5 divided by 9, hit enter. That's that 0.555 I was telling you about. Multiply that times the 28, and we get 15.55555. Rounding to the nearest hundredth would be 15.56. So that 5 became a 6 because the number after it was a 5. And then that would be degrees of Celsius. All right, so convert Celsius, have this formula to use, okay? Or you can turn that into a decimal, like I said, and work it that way. All right, y'all, let me turn my page. Number 9. We're going to do the following operations on our scientific notation. So for A, they want me to do 2 times 10 to the 8th times 2 times 10 to the 6th. So multiplying, you take the first two numbers, 2 times 2, and put that in your first parentheses. And then you put the times 10. And then for the exponent on the 10, you add those exponents. So you do 8 plus 6. So multiplying, we multiply the numbers, add the exponents. So 2 times 2 give me 4 times 10. 8 plus 6 is 14. So it's always going to have this at the end, okay? Times 10. You just got to figure out what that exponent is and what that number is. But y'all remember one thing. If you had two bigger numbers here, like say 5 times 5, and this ended up being 25, remember if you had 25, you would have to move the decimal once left to make that a 2.5, which means you would add 1 to the exponent and make that a 15. So always watch, the answers have to be between 1 and 10 for that first number. Remember, that's what scientific notation tells us. All right, B, we're going to take 6 times 10 to the 4th plus 9 times 10 to the 3rd. So really, y'all, on this one, I just turned them into regular numbers and then added them and then turned them back into scientific notation. So 6 times 10 to the 4th would be a 6 with 4 zeros, okay? Plus 9 times 10 to the 3rd would be a 9 with 3 zeros. All right, so now I can add that because I got 60,000 plus 9,000. That equals 69,000. Now to turn it back into scientific notation, I go 1, 2, 3, 4 left. So this is now 6.9 times 10. I went left 4 units, so my answer was 2 to the 4th power. Usually this answer will match this answer in power. The highest power will be in your answer, okay? So add and turn them into numbers, add them, and then turn them back into scientific notation. All right, the last one is division. 9 times 10 to the 14th divided by 3 times 10 to the 10th. So division is sort of like multiplication. In the front, you take the 9, divide by the 3, and then it's going to be times 10. So you take the first number, divide by the second, then it's always times 10. Now to get this exponent, since you're dividing, you subtract exponents. So that'll be 14 minus 10 for that exponent. Okay, so let's see what we get. 9 divided by 3 is 3 times 10. 14 minus 10 is 4. So notice how all my answers when I do scientific notation end up with that times 10, okay? All right, y'all, number 10. Oh, hey, I must have skipped one. Let me see. Okay, so I skipped one, so I'm going to do it now. This would have been number 9. They want me to turn negative 25 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit. So we did Fahrenheit to Celsius. They also wanted me to do a Celsius to Fahrenheit, okay? All right, so that formula, Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32. Or instead of 9/5, you can turn that into a 1.8 and use 1.8 there instead of 9 divided by 5, okay? Either way, so I'm going to put 9/5. C is negative 25, and then I got my plus 32. So all we did was put in that negative 25 there. All right, so here I go. I would do this. 9 divided by 5 now. I get my 1.8. Multiply that times negative 25. That's going to give me negative 45. And then negative 45 plus my 32 is going to give me negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? All right, so then I did 10 already. All right, so 10 was really 9, and 9 was really 10. I don't know if y'all's study guides will be in the same order or not, but it'll have the same questions. I don't know about the order being the same. All right, identify the fallacy. So they're giving me circular reasoning, straw man, hasty generalization, and false cause. So each of my brother's 3 dogs has fleas. Therefore, all dogs have fleas. So it's not circular reasoning, not straw man. I went with a hasty generalization because you're generalizing on the fact that just because this guy's dogs had fleas, all 3 of them, does that mean all dogs have fleas? He might not be good at keeping his dogs, what do you call it, flea protection and all that, right? And it's not a false cause, so I went with hasty generalization. Oh, my number 12 was a repeat, so we're going to convert negative 50 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit. So another Fahrenheit, so I guess you're at least going to get some of these on there, right? Because out of 22, I've done 3 of these. All right, so here we go. F equals, remember, I could use that 1.8 times my C plus 32, or you could use the 9/5 there, okay? Either way. So we got 1.8 times a negative 50 plus 32. So y'all, let's see what we get. And see if you did 9 divided by 5, you're still going to get that 1.8 times negative 50 equals negative 90 plus 32. That's going to equal, what is that, a negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so not bad. And then you can go from Fahrenheit back to Celsius using that other formula. Okay. All right, so let me see. What are we on? 13. Carry out the indicated conversion. Round your answer if appropriate. So use a chain of conversions with familiar measures of time to convert 3 weeks. So we want to turn 3 weeks into seconds. So what I did, I started with my 3 weeks. It's going to take me a while to get to seconds because I know that every 1 week is 7 days. right? We're just going to keep going down. For every 1 day, there is 24 hours. For every hour, there are 60 minutes. All right, so one more to go. For every minute, there are 60 seconds. So look, my weeks cancel, my days cancel, my hours cancel, my minutes cancel, and I'm going to be left with seconds. So look, everything's on top. It's got to be multiplied. So 3 times 7 is 21 times 24. So that'd be how many hours it is, times 60. That's how many minutes it is, times 60. That is how many seconds it is. So that looks like 1814400. So that's over 1,000,000. That's almost 2,000,000 seconds in 3 weeks. Hang on, we're moving on now to number 14. Identify the fallacy. So you've had a bunch of these, so you're pretty sure you're going to get at least 2 of these also, maybe even more. So they're giving me diversion, false cause, circular reasoning, and hasty generalization. So those are my choices. So this says you should brush your teeth every day because brushing your teeth is very important. Well, y'all, that's not a diversion. That's not a false cause. It's not even a hasty generalization. That is what I would call circular reasoning. You should brush your teeth every day because brushing your teeth is very important. Don't that sort of seem like it's repeating the same thing? Okay. So I went with circular reasoning. So that's what that one is about. All right. Recently, $1 was worth, so $1 was worth 12.73 Mexican pesos. How much would 130 US dollars be worth in Mexico? So we're going to start with this 130 US dollars. So I'll just call that dollars, right? And they told me right here that for every $1, it was worth 12.73 pesos. So look, my dollars is going to cancel. I'm going to end up in pesos. So on this one, you just want to multiply to 130 times 12.73. And let's see on that one. They rounded it to the nearest cents since it was in cents. So they put 1,654.90. So they added a zero to make it look like in cents, okay? But you'll be able to tell on that because it gives you 4 answer choices. And this one's the only one that has the right number for the pesos, okay? Identify the fallacy. So this is like the 5th one. So your choices are appeal to ignorance, appeal to emotion, hasty generalization, or diversion. And they also tell you that diversion means red herring. So here's the statement. If proposition Q fails, your children won't have good schools. So think about it. If proposition Q fails, your children won't have good schools. So don't that sort of sound like they're playing with your emotions about your love for your kids so that you would maybe vote for Proposition Q? So I said they were appealing to my emotion. Nothing about ignorance. They're not generalizing nothing, and they're not trying to divert me into something else, okay? So they're just trying to appeal to my love for them kids. Now, what's it, 17? Write the number in ordinary notation, and they're giving me 9 times 10 to the second. So since that's positive, you write your 9. Since that's positive, you technically move the decimal right twice. So I'm going to have to add 2 zeros, right? From the 9, I would move twice to the right. And since the decimal's after the last number, I don't have to write it. So I can just write that as 900 and be done. Now, most of these are going to give you A, B, C, D type choices, okay? All right, 18, identify the fallacy. So this is like 6, 7, 8, 1, y'all. But remember, that was all chapter 1 was, is this, okay? So personal attack, which remember is the ad hominem, false cause, hasty generalization, circular reasoning. All right, so one of them 4 choices on this statement. After getting new dishes, I started to sneeze. I must be allergic to the new dishes. So just because you got new dishes and then you started sneezing, does that mean that the dishes are making you sneeze and you're allergic to them? So I said that had to be a false cause, right? Just because you sneezed after you got dishes does not mean that the dishes did that. Remember, personal attack, we know we'd be attacking someone. Hasty generalization was like the dogs having fleas, so all dogs have fleas. And then circular reasoning would be restating what you were saying. All right, y'all, getting close. What I got, about 4 more of these for you. Write the number in scientific notation, 560,000. Well, I know at the moment that decimal is right there. And since I'm moving it left, it's going to be positive. So let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm behind the first non-zero number. So that's going to be a 5.6. Now remember, I don't have to write all these zeros since they come after the 6. That's coming after the decimal. If they were after the 5 and before the decimal, I would have to write them. But since they're after that 6, after the decimal, they're just accuracy and they have no part in the answer. And then I put times 10. Remember, since we went left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that would be a positive 5. So large numbers have positive exponents. Numbers like 0.000 something have negative exponents. You move left, they're positive. You move right, they're negative. All right, y'all, 20. Convert a weight of 19 pounds into ounces. So 19 pounds into ounces. And they tell me there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Okay? Well, we knew that, right? All right, so let's see. What they started with was 19 pounds. Over here, it tells me, so every 1 pound is 16 ounces. So see, the pounds are going to cancel. So basically, I take my 19 times my 16 after I turn this on. 19 times 16. And I get 304 ounces. All right, y'all, let me turn this over. Well, not turn it over. Let me get a new page. Number 21. Write the number in scientific notation. The population of a small country is 9,698,000. They want me to write that in scientific notation. So remember, the decimal's right here at the moment. So we're going to move left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to move left 6 times. So I get 9.698. Remember, I don't need these zeros. Times 10. Since I went left 6, that is a positive 6. All right, y'all. So number 22 says turn 85 degrees Fahrenheit into Celsius. So this will be the last one. And remember, my test will cover 20 of these 22 questions. I'm not going to throw no curveball questions on it. Them questions will come from these 22, okay? You don't know which 20, but they're in here. All right, so we know that C equals 5 over 9 F minus 32. So 5 over 9, F is 85 minus my 32. So that'll be 5 over 9 times 85 minus 32 is 53. So y'all, all you got to do now, and you can even do this way. If you don't want to divide that first, you can multiply the 5 times 53. So watch this. 5 times 53 equals 265 divided by that 9 on the bottom. That's going to give me 29.444. They want me to round to the nearest hundredth. So since I got 29.444, the nearest hundredth is where that 4 is. So since that's not 5 or greater, you leave this as a 29.44 degrees Celsius. All righty, y'all. So like I said, 20 out of these 22 questions are on that test. This test must be taken by Sunday night. Okay? I'm opening it this Thursday. It's got to be completed by Sunday night. Homework will let you work past. I even got quizzes that let you work past, but you cannot work past on the test. Okay? So if this test ain't taken by midnight, Sunday night, I got to give you a 0. All right, y'all. So good luck and see y'all later. So let's end this.